All right, here we are. We are in North Carolina on the North Carolina podcast. Let's just call it the North Carolina podcast. So we're going to do the Smoky Mountain area of North Carolina. Some folks would call it the Asheville area, but not really. You know, it's a little bit down further to the west and south of there. And uh, I'll stop talking. Let me introduce Jay the Viking. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing all right, Luke. It's a great day. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, we're mostly back up and running. We had that hurricane a year ago now, but we're pretty badass out here. We came together and kind of got everything back up and running. But it did take its toll, but that's just we bounced back. So
Still a lot of road closures and things. I think there's definitely a lot of sections of roads going to Tennessee that I know of that are at least down to one lane in areas and things like that.
yeah, 40, that's going to take a long time to fix. That was a land bridge that got washed out. So I mean, they literally have to connect two mountains together. So yeah, it's open. You can get through to Tennessee. It used to take an hour and a half to get to Gatlinburg from here. It's more like 2 hours now, give or take. But it just depends on what time of day you go.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's been, I think, a year and 2 weeks or something like that. 2 weeks.
this
So,
one's- I think it's today is the anniversary, I
oh,
think today.
today. Oh,
22nd, I believe is when
wow.
it happened.
That was a tough one for sure. And mostly a lot to do with you guys weren't expecting such a thing, you know.
No, no, I was fortunate I didn't lose power at all or anything, but a lot of people did. So, but yeah, we're doing well now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what let's I guess start can you show me where we're talking about just for perspective here?
Yeah, hang on one second. Let me
No
get this
hurry.
up.
Take your time. We are going to be Maggie Valley area,
Where's my
basically
screen?
on the other side of the Smoky Mountains if you're familiar with Tennessee, which a lot of people in this business are.
Can you see that map?
There you go. Yep.
Okay, so if you can see my cursor, this is Asheville for reference. So all the way
And
west,
I'm sorry, why do we keep talking about Asheville? Is it simply because it's like, the biggest city?
it's the one people know. Yeah, it's the biggest city around here in the Western North Carolina area. So for reference, there's Asheville. You can't rent in Asheville city limits. So it's kind of off there. So if you go west, we have I-40 that goes all the way through and then it attaches to 74 and 19. So it's like this straight shot of highway through this whole market. So getting places is, it's quicker. Not a lot of back roads and stuff like that. So this area right here, can you still see my map there?
Okay. Yes,
There we
there's the
go.
map. Yep, there we go. Go ahead.
There we go. All right. So this area right here is Waynesville, Maggie Valley. It's currently where my bud is occupied in this little area here. We got Lake Junaluska right there. It's a nice man-made lake. It's about 10 feet deep, but it kind of looks cool and you can swim in it. But in the wintertime, they like muck it. So it kind of looks ugly in the wintertime. So keep that in mind if you buy in Lake Junaluska. Maggie Valley. Very, very popular. It's this little tiny strip. It's not a very big town. So it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really matter where you buy in Maggie Valley, as long as it's not like, the road's not horrible. It's so close to everything, no matter where you buy in Maggie Valley. So there's still, even if you buy on the outskirts, you're still closer to Cherokee and the casino out there. But I mean, anywhere you buy in here, you're like maybe 2 to 15 minutes away from all the action. And Five Top Road, that's the big one because that's where the ski resort is here, Cataloochee Ski Area. So we do have snow skiing in Maggie Valley. Um, and then you jog over, keep going west. You got Cherokee, Whittier, Bryson City. Um, Bryson City's where I've sold most of my real estate this year. It's actually kind of like just taken off this year. I don't know why. I mean, it's a great place. I do know why. It's an awesome place, but um, it's just in the past, it's like it's either Maggie Valley or Bryson City or kind of out near Asheville is where it just depends year to year. But going even further west, you got Fontana Lake, you got Lake Santilla, Lake Chatuge. those are all great places. Expect to pay a lot more in those communities because they are, especially if you're on the lake. But and then if we go a little west of Asheville or east of Asheville here, you got Chimney Rock, which sadly doesn't really exist anymore since the hurricane. It was completely wiped off the map. Um, then you've got Lake Lure is a good spot, and if you're around, I have a guy that bought 30 minutes from the lake, and he's actually absolutely crushing it. But if the closer to the lake you get, the better. So it just shows that you don't have to be right on the lake. But that's pretty much this area.
What are
You
we
got
looking at? Throw me a purchase price. Like, are there smaller properties or like what? So I'm already all over the place. How many bedrooms am I looking at? Can I get a two bedroom?
so yeah, absolutely. You get one bedrooms as well, but they're a little bit more few and far between. But they're going to be the lowest of all the price points. So a 2 to 3 bedroom is probably your average size, and like people that are just getting into the business and stuff like that, that's going to be kind of what their budget's going to allow for them. So it's about Haywood County, which is where I'm at. That's your average purchase price is only about 400K. If you get closer to Asheville, you're kind of going up to 500K is the average purchase price. And then it's kind of similar going out to Bryson City like that. We actually have a really for what you get, our purchase prices are kind of low. It doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense to spend $1 million unless you're buying something at least 5 bedrooms plus. So, because the revenue jumps up quite significantly between a 3 and a 5. So it just doesn't make sense to spend $1 million on a 3 bedroom here
Okay, cool.
unless unless it's just the most amazing property like ever, you know.
Right, like maybe something that you're looking like you fell in love with, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For
Well,
personal use.
yeah, for personal use, but um, we want to make some money, so that's kind of where those price points come in at. I have one under contract that's over $1 million right now. That's a 7 bedroom, and that makes sense, and that's in prices or Whittier. It just has to, the bedroom count has to be there. So
I'm curious to see what that looks like, but to protect the buyers and sellers on that one, since it's not closed, we won't look. But
yeah, it's not closed yet. I can't. That's why I said above $1 million, but not the actual purchase price.
okay, cool. So, do you have like maybe a listing or something like that that we can like give me an example? Maybe not that seven bedroom. Doesn't even have to be your listing, just like a house for sale.
Yeah, let me pull it up on the actual MLS. How do I get? Okay, I'll move that little. There we go. So here's one I just like perused a little bit. This one's 590. This is up in the Maggie Valley Country Club, and it's in a really good spot. It might need a little bit of exterior work on it, but as far as running through it, it looks really good. The country club is an optional HOA fee. If you do buy into that, then you obviously get the amenities and stuff that come with that. But it's optional. Short-term rentals are friendly there, and you're not far from the action. So that's kind of an example of a Maggie Valley property. And like I was saying earlier, it kind of really doesn't matter where you buy because you're always close. Because it's a small town, and for some reason that's not loading. But has a view. It's not the most amazing view, and I think Avery calls them majestic views. This definitely doesn't have a majestic view. It has a good view. So
Is the country club a popular area? Does this area come up often in your life?
yeah, I've actually sold a few in this community over here. The course, I believe it's public. You can go and just pay and play. But this is the only country club here that I know of in Maggie Valley. You also have Laurel Ridge, which is nearby, but not right there on the strip of Maggie. So.
Any idea what something like this would rent for? Gross for a year.
Mm, the average ADR's around 250 for the area here. Um, I don't know. I don't have a gross rate off the top of my head, but I can give you like an average return. And it's going to be like 4 to 7% at the end of the day. So
I got you. Looks like it does need a little updating. Is that pretty normal?
Not all the time. Not all the time, and we can actually segue that into what sells and how long it stays on the market, depending on like the condition on the outside. So yes, it does, you know, need a little bit of outside work, I think, on this one. But just some paint and stuff. It's not going to be a ton of stuff that you're going to need to do to it. But that's the thing, is things, average day on market's about 2 to 3 months. If the house is nice and there's nothing wrong with it, if it needs work and stuff like that, it can be on the market longer than that, up to a year. So that's kind of the state of our market. We're definitely a buyer's market here right now because we have here in Waynesville or in Haywood County in Western North Carolina. Well, Western North Carolina as a whole, we're at about 6 month inventory. So a 6 month period of time, and so there's plenty out there. Just and a lot of times there's not multiple offers now, so you can negotiate stuff like that on stuff that needs work. So lots of opportunities for burrs, which is if you want to do that, that's awesome. We got those. You can usually find those under 300. Just depends on what level of fixing it up you want to do. So,
Yeah, I read actually yesterday that we had 56,000 canceled contracts in the month of August, and that's the might be the worst ever. But
mhm.
since August, it's like it's gotten way better. So the data I'm getting on this statistic is that it's reached the worst it's ever going to be. And now we're maybe rebounding a little bit. It went as high as one in every seven contracts was being canceled. This is again nationwide. And of course, is mostly going to be primary homes because that's what most single family homes are nationwide. But yeah, it's the market is a little wacky out there. And at the recording of this podcast, we're also the government is still shut down. They're expecting to open it up. I'm actually saying maybe even a day, but who knows when you're listening to this. But if you think that it's still 2021, get over that. It is not. It's definitely dead out there in most cases. What is that? That's cute.
Yeah, this is and just to add to that too, I think a lot of I because this has been my busiest year in real estate, Luke, like seriously. But I think, ever since Big Beautiful Bill passed, there's a lot more people buying short-term rentals, for that depreciation. So, um, this is just an example of something that I found that's in Bryson City, and I don't necessarily know if I agree with the price on it, but where'd it go? It is unique, and that's the thing. Something like this that's really unique does really well because it's not your cookie cutter, like here's your living room and your kitchen, and you got two rooms off the side. That house is just really boring. But this actually has like an observation deck and everything, so you can get up there and look at the view, and it's very, very interesting home.
Yeah, this is cool. Like really cool. This is
So.
like this is what you hear the term Airbnb. This is what I think of.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a tree house out here for sale right now. The problem is it's just the lending has been an issue for the guy selling it. So, but it's got like a tree growing through the house. I mean, the house itself is not a tree house. It is on stilts, but like lending's like there's a tree in the house. So it's just part of the features there, buddy.
Yeah.
But
Let
it's
me ask you
really
two.
cool looking.
I have two questions about this house.
Mhm.
How much is it?
600,000 even.
How many bedrooms? So three questions. Sorry.
It's a 2-1, so
Oh, it's
that's
pretty
why it's
small.
yeah, that's why and it's about 1,400 square feet. That's why I said I didn't necessarily agree on the price, but it's been on the market about 58 days now, so it's kind of reaching that threshold of normal days on market.
Where they may actually be coming back down to earth.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
and
then
these days I can't tell you, Luke, last time I put a house under contract for asking price. Like seriously, it's just you can and get concessions too. Like you can negotiate, you can get credits. You know, it just depends on how long the house has been on the market. If it's day one, you're probably, we'll haggle, but don't expect them to, you know, play ball with you one day on the market, so uh,
is this house common? I mean, are there other like
no.
interesting homes in the area or not really?
No, no, these are kind of few and far between. And the reason why I wanted to bring this one up is just, to show the uniqueness of a house that would do well up here. Um, is, compared to your cookie cutter. But there's a lot of good looking houses that aren't necessarily the cookie cutter, but a lot of the new constructions that come up, they're just the floor plan is just blah. So um, this is there's a lot of unique little houses like this, like scattered here and there. So when I see them, I always like to try to like, hey, check this out. This is unique. This will do well. I'm gonna probably put this on the face or our thingy that we do every week for new and notable.
Yeah, new and notable. Yeah, this I think this would sell. I mean, the price is a little out of line. I mean, for how small it is.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
marketability is very high on this, assuming it's in good shape. I mean, the piers under the porch there look a little worn out, but
yeah,
oh, that's
yeah,
cool. It's got a
yeah,
little koi pond type deal.
yeah. You got a little loft in there. I'm assuming that this two bedroom is a one bedroom plus a loft bedroom. It's got a garage. So if that garage is not finished, that's a good place to put your game room. I don't know anybody that actually uses a garage for a garage in a short-term rental up here. So, to help park cars. Yep. See, there's a little loft room up here, and it even has a third story up to the observation deck. So it's cool. So
Very interesting.
this is just an example of something that would probably do really well, just because it's so unique.
I like it. I want it.
Yeah. Well, let's put an offer on it.
Yeah, maybe we don't
I'll
want
get
to
a
put
video
this on
for
the
you.
air yet. But anyway, uh, I even like that little front porch there. That is so cool
Yeah,
with the
and
swing.
it's on where's the acreage? 17 acres. So
Oh
yeah,
my.
that's
Oh,
probably why the price is so high now that I'm looking at it, 17 acres. But you got to figure how much of that's usable.
right. It's
So
probably up and down type of a deal.
yeah, that makes more sense on the price now that I saw that 17 acres there because it's about 30 to 50K an acre. It just depends on the usability of the
All right.
land
Well, by the
up here.
time this podcast comes out, this thing might be under contract. So we'll see.
Well, make sure you contact me, whoever wants to put it out.
Yeah. Yours truly. But anyway, all
There you
right,
go.
cool. Anything else we should look at in the area?
So I got a couple Airbnb listings of some people
Cool.
that in Western North Carolina here that have done really well. And this is he paid 430 for this, and it's kind of right off the road to Maggie. I mean, you can actually hear the road, which some people don't like, but I mean, it works for him. His view is good. All of it, it's solid. It's a cabin. Um, he he's
This
absolutely
almost
crushing it.
this almost looks like a East Tennessee cabin.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's what Maggie Valley looks like, man. That in the Alarka region of Bryson City, beautiful
Hmm.
views. But you can see he's not way up high, but he's got that long range view of the mountains. So that does the trick. And it's in a neighborhood. So I mean, being in a neighborhood doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do bad. If you want it personally for something that you want it more secluded, that's more of a personal preference. But something like this, I mean, but he's probably doing the best out of every client I've ever had.
Let's go look at his
So,
calendar.
yep, let's look at this
Of course,
calendar.
it is slow season here. We're very, very slow season in the next couple of weeks, but just hit back. Yep. And then just check in. There you go. Road's looking good. That's
Yeah,
looking
so
really good.
October was done. He's got half of November almost done. And I don't know if, yep, November, December. Even got, doesn't have anything in January. Well, January 1st, but I guess that's an overbooking for December there. We do get a little bit of a trickle down because November, December, and July are our best months up here. And we do get a little bit of a trickle down into January because, people are just not ready to start the new year and leave their vacation. So we do get pretty decent January compared to other markets. February to May is kind of the slow period. But yeah, so that's his. And this next one, and then I think, if you have any more questions, we can jump into high country. But this is a Bryson City cabin that a client of mine just bought. And if you want to see before pictures of this place, feel free to email me. Um, and I will show you before pictures of this house, but they have an interior design business, so they bought this house for 489.9 and put about 200 in renovations in it, and it's fabulous. It's amazing. I mean, he's got the sauna, the hot tub. I know we've talked about, if it's not renting, don't put more amenities in it, but this is what they started with. So, and they're doing really well. Um, this right here is a garage that he completely redid. Um, and this, like location wise, is probably like 3 minutes from downtown Bryson City. So you got the whole downtown scene down there. This location is really great. Um,
This house needs its own Instagram.
I know, right? They probably have one.
Yeah.
I just don't have it. But man, if you could see the before pictures, like this was all enclosed, the kitchen, and he knocked it all out and did that. Yeah, it's a great place. Like I couldn't believe it. I went and did a walkthrough of it after he finished it, and there was foundation issues at the beginning, and had those corrected. Just small ones, not anything really big. We're in the mountains, and shit settles. So, but this is the Bryson City one I wanted to show that is doing really well, and if you have the means and you're booking, any little people want to stay at this place, they don't necessarily want to be gone from it all the time while they're here, just because there's lots of things to do. But that's about it. Let's look at
Cool.
his calendar.
Yeah, that thing's beautiful.
So
A little less than
he's
the
a
other guy.
little less than the other guy, but his price per night is probably a lot higher too. So
Right.
you will see a lower occupancy rate with the higher priced homes, because this, I think, after he said and done, he had like it's like a 5 or 6 bed. So you will see a lot less, or around here is about 33 to 55%. You will see a little bit lower with the bigger houses, but you are charging more per night, so it does cash flow at the end of the day. So something smaller like that last one, his price per night is going to be a little lower. So, you know,
Cool.
and it's kind of similar in high country too, about 35 to 40%. It's a little lower, but we'll get into that.
All right. So what talk to me about maybe a couple of your most recent deals, like somebody offering on a house. What does that look like? I know it's case by case. It's always going to be different, but are you seeing like a lot of back and forth and offers and counter offers? Or are you seeing sellers that are saying go to hell, or what are we seeing?
Well, I like to think myself as a good negotiator, so I like to get them to get that counter back to us, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm like I told you, I can't tell you last time I put a house under contract for asking price. We've always negotiated under, we've always negotiated concessions. It's just the way the market is right now. Um, Now I've had some listings sit on the market for a long time too, but I actually the last couple listings that I listed and sold, they went from 1 day to 1 day to 1 month they sold. So got those sold out pretty quick. That's not a normal occurrence. You don't put stuff on the market these days and it goes the first day. That's a fluke now. Um, but yeah. I'm a big fan of Chris Voss, so if you want to get in and negotiate, let's do it.
Yeah.
Never split that
Negotiate.
difference.
That's a big part of it. And right now, it's a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it because you got sellers that are just morons and they think that their house is worth $1 billion and their neighbor sold it in 2021 for $2 million in Bitcoin or whatever.
Hmm.
And now you got buyers that are starting to kind of come around and they're hungry and they're
Yeah.
also unrealistic and like they're
100,000 under asking. Well, let's do it. We
yeah,
can just
let's
drop in
give it a
that
try.
that extreme anchor there.
Hey,
Let's
Mr.
do it.
Seller, I hate to tell you, but when's the last time you had an offer? I mean,
Exactly.
an offer,
Exactly.
an annoying, offensive offer is better than no offer,
It's a starting point.
and that's
Or
just where,
not.
And that's where we're at right now. And I think we're going to stay there for a little while. I do think things are going to smooth out a little bit. We got to get the government open back up, get some data going. I think that's our biggest problem right now is we haven't had any data for 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
at the recording of this podcast again, which is why we wanted to update this, is everything's changed. Everything's changed since we recorded the original set of podcasts, and as of yesterday morning, as a matter of fact, at the time we're recording this, the 10-year went below 4 for the first time in a very long time, and we've been waiting on that. Waiting on it for what? I don't know, because there's a lot of other factors that are going to need to happen before mortgage rates come down. But because
We're
the
slowly
spread
getting
is
there.
they're starting to get there, but the spread's bad. I mean, you got 3.94 somewhere in there on the 10-year, and the Fed rate is what 4.25, but mortgage interest rates are somewhere what I don't know where are they at right now,
Six,
6.25.
6, yeah, somewhere. I've seen them as high as 6.8 recently, but about that.
I haven't
Yeah.
checked in the last week. So, the difference between the 10-year and the mortgage rates right now is too big.
Hmm.
Historically, if you look on them on like a 20-year spread or 10-year, however long the 10 years been around, they're neck and neck over
Hmm.
time. But right now they're not. And that's our biggest problem. And Um, uh, I think we're going in the right direction, but the only way we can get things going is to get some data on jobs would be the most important one right now, and we don't have that.
Yeah, because
Um,
nobody's there right now. But
there's
yeah,
nobody working,
definitely
at the
changing.
government.
I
So that's the stuff to keep an eye on right now. Where's the 10-year versus the mortgage rates? And again, that's if you're buying with a mortgage. This is an excellent time to buy without a mortgage.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to worry about it, that appraisal.
And you don't have to worry
Just
about
jump.
competition.
No,
The guy who's
cash
buying with a
offers.
mortgage right now at 6.8% versus when the seller bought it for 3%. This is the problem in the market. But if you've got cash, it's a great time to be jumping on some things,
Yeah.
and then let the people that need to use a mortgage uh, fight over it in a few months or whatever as things start to come back around. So it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time.
Yeah. And up here, I mean, you can't really get seller financing. There's not, God, it's so rare that that happens up here too. So, but yeah, things are changing. I went back and looked at my video when I first joined about the market. I was like, wow, this has all changed.
So much has changed. And my thing is the biggest problem is perspective. The people don't realize it's changed so much because most people don't sell houses very often, and we can't blame them for that.
About 8 is average for the normal real estate agent up here a year.
It's to sell 8 houses for an
Six to
agent,
eight.
yeah.
That's
But
the average.
an average human, the selling and buying their own homes to live in
Mhm.
and such. That's the statistic is 7 years, every 7 years. So we had a lot of people buying and selling in 2020 and 2021, and it has not been 7 years since then. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that still think that that's going on. And of course, your priest shirt is awesome.
That was a good show. That
Yeah,
was a
heavy
really good
metal
show.
rules. Heavy
Hell
metal
yeah,
rules. Well,
man.
anyway, how do
That's
we
why I
get a hold
love the
of you?
short-term shop.
Nah, that's what I'm talking about. How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, just J and then the short-term shop at gmail or .com.
Yeah, Jay at
So I made
theshorttermshop.com.
J at the short-term shop.com.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
All right, cool. Well, we appreciate you, and we'll catch up again soon.
All right, man. Sounds good.